Everyone had a wonderful weekend, nice 4th of July weekend here in the United States, where we remember the day America gained their independence from the England that tried to conquer the world but was unsuccessful when it came to America. Anyways, as we can see here, let me go ahead and switch this off the extended hours. As we can see here, to start last month or to start uh, this month, July, very narrow range. The last day of last week um was it the 30th? I don't think we had 31 days, right?
Yeah, 30th.
The 30th, yeah. um
Yeah, this will be the first, RTH for this month, like
yeah, so
like
yeah,
full day.
so this is just kind of that holiday session. So we're starting off a new monthly um bar. So we kind of have single prints, right? Because this new monthly bar is going to be opening up close to 4470, which is here. So we have a bit of single prints, as we can assume, below us. So on this way down, right, and really until the single prints are closed, which would be down here at this previous high, which is 4238, we have to assume that there's some longer time short traders that are stuck below in this long-term bounce. Right, this could have been them short covering, so we could trade straight through it. You never know, but we do want to assume that all these pullbacks during this month, if we get nice pullbacks that don't get any continuation, there's going to be some opportunities for some long-term buying holds within the monthly levels, right? So that'll be something key to watch. And then, of course, because we are so close to the previous month's high, which was 44.98, we do want to be watching that high, right? A breakout um, or break above could, just give us that sign that we are getting that continuation, and we can, we always want to go with. So, but yeah, today should be an interesting day. We do have the Fed minutes today as well, so there'll probably be some action, maybe depending upon what comes out with those. On the weekly here, you could see that we still remain in balance, right, with a gap on the weekly chart below. So we're still balancing on the weekly level. And so this kind of changes your perspective, especially because we're day trading, right? So because we're day trading, when we're looking at a monthly bar just breaking to the upside, right? Well, on the weekly level, it could be giving this, and on the daily level, it could be giving this. And so it's tough when we're on the daily level to be like, oh, well, the market's just going up, right? That's understandable. So one thing that we can use is, so the monthly is in imbalance, right? Breaking up. Well, the weekly is in balance, right? So we have to apply balance rules on a weekly basis. And so where's the reversal points on the weekly basis, right? That's like all the way up here, 44. What's this high here? It's like 40. It's 46.31 is that previous high, and then there's another little equilibrium up here, that 45.40. That's kind of where I think be the high, like a temporary high for the summer. 45.40 might be as high as we get, I think. But I mean, impossible to know. But what that's telling us is that if we break up and come back inside the weekly range, right? Well, then playing that monthly breakout, the levels are just going to be different, because inside here we know we're balancing. So where's that monthly breakout probably going to continue from? Probably from our old level, which seems to have changed, because I thought we had 4307, but maybe not. Oh no, it's 4137. But probably, if we get that fail of balance, that's probably going to be the pullback that's going to be viable. And if we go back to the monthly here, 4306, um, you can kind of see it's, right there in the middle, right there at the top of these previous bars, right? Got resistance, got sold off, got resistance, got sold off. So if it came back down to there, held as support, that would actually be kind of bullish there, kind of still showing, even though it would be kind of breaking this trend. That would be kind of bullish, I think. Switching over to the daily, you could see we got that pretty large gap into last Friday, which was the 30th, right? Large gap up and just kind of traded higher and stayed higher pretty much all day. A little bit of a liquidation towards the end of the day, off of the high, and we were able to create a new high. Still got these moving averages pretty far away from us, 42.60, but they're all, you can kind of see here that they're all sloping up at, in the right direction, kind of confirming the trend, right? We can't necessarily, well, I don't necessarily think that they are, like buy above, sell below type indicators. I think you really just want to look for the slope, and that's just for more of a confirmation than anything. Um, as far as how we trade, right? Um, but so you kind of see here we get this gap. It'll be interesting today to see if the market does try to trade back into that gap. We've got it marked on the profiles chart so we can dig into it a little bit more over there. One thing that we do want to look at real quick though before we switch is I'm going to take a peek at this COT, just kind of show you guys um, why I'm kind of leaning a little bit for a pullback. I mean, we kind of already got the pullback in the overnight session. And I was prepared for that, so it worked out. But I still think there might be a little bit more pullback in the tank. We can see here, if we just take a peek at managed money and leveraged money, you can see, right, asset managers kind of hitting a little bit of a peak here. You see them kind of starting to take a little bit of profit, right? They're not as long as they were during COVID. And you can see that this leveraged money is actually shorter than they were. They're right now shorter than they were on the way up during that 2021, basically just like solid straight move to the upside. But they're starting to cover some of those short positions now. And so that's where I think this squeeze might be coming from. Um, and asset managers may be using some of these stops to get out of positions. Right? So think about it like if these are buyers here, right? These are sellers. Well, sellers have to buy their position back, right? In order to do it, in order to get out. And these buyers have to sell their position back in order to get out. So they make a deal with each other here. And then on this way up, some of them are making deals with some of them. And if we look back in time, like if you look back in time, this chart pretty much always comes back together after getting like far extended, comes back and then kind of gets extended. I mean, these kind of go together, but then it comes back. Then it starts to get extended and, you know, comes back. And this is all the way, I mean, this is all the way back until 2016, but I mean, you can go, forever in time and kind of see this. And so you can see here that short covering, they actually bought some longs, right? Of course, because the market was going up and they felt like, they're like, oh, it's going to break out. So they probably bought the high. We'll have to look at last Tuesday, the 27th. Asset managers covered some longs and pretty much added the whole position to their short. So we'll look as of last Tuesday and kind of try to guesstimate where that happened at. Another thing that we want to look at, because it's kind of the talk of the town right now, is this NASDAQ mini. And you could see the NASDAQ mini, the leverage positions adding to that short again. So kind of throwing more fuel on the fire here. Right. They had to cover a bit here as they got squeezed up, but then they re-shorted the Nasdaq. So they're still committed to this Nasdaq short. It seems like leveraged money is, which is surprising because typically they just get burned almost constantly. But you can see how kind of overextended. I mean, this thing goes back. You see, here's 2020. The last time that the asset managers have been this long is, almost all the way back 2016. So a pretty kind of decent commitment to keep buying tech stocks here from asset managers. And of course, we've got to think about as well, um, the I don't think it's fair to say like position wise because it's not based off the percentage because there's probably a lot more asset managers out there now because back in the day you really just had separate companies that managed assets and then were leveraged, and now JP Morgan does that all themselves, right? They've got hedge funds, they've got banks, they've got institutional funds, they've got a little bit of everything, so they can kind of squiggle around and make their own deals that they need to make in order to make money as well. So we really got to take that um, with a grain of salt. Now, switching over here to the profile, we can do a little review from Friday. We could see basically we just opened up higher, right? Big gap here. See that untouched settle. Market opened up higher. You could see the overnight session here, right? Just squeezed up the whole time. Opened up, traded back into the Globex session for about like 18 seconds. Shot back up, gave a little bit of a sign that buyers were kind of running thin early, right? Gave us kind of a poor high. We traded back down into the excess of A. More sellers got stuck. We got short covering. And then a liquidation on the close, kind of showing that really any buyers that bought were more or less unwilling to hold at these higher levels. And so they kind of liquidated back into the close. I mean, you can see that's where those Brad prints were at. Go ahead and take those off. Then we get the holiday session, right? I'm kind of just ignoring that. And then tonight, our Globex session, we have 100% short inventory here. And then if we zoom out here, you can see that we're starting to try to form this upper distribution, right? So what do we say as of the 27th, right? Which is this day here. Leverage funds got long, right? Did we say they got long on the 27th? Yeah. So they got long, and that looks like they actually might have been doing okay. They must have been buying this dip. So we'll see. Since they made some money on it right away, they probably ended up taking profit. But the big key here going into this week is going to be this gap, right? Remember, we had this gap, and you can kind of see it in the backside. Well, this is sometimes what the market does, right? It can't get through a gap, right? Kind of struggled to find buyers, and then it just jumps over it, right? Well, I don't like this area, right? This is an unfair price. Well, I'll just jump over it and make everybody trade up here. So what's going to be happening is as this is pulling into this gap, what I think is there's going to be a lot of buying here, right? Maybe for some trap sellers, but if there's not a nice pop and the market gets below this 40.52, I'm really expecting this 35 level um, to get tested, and that's kind of what I'm looking for today. Um, as far as being a buyer today, I think that there's going to be opportunity, but it's tough. Like you really want to see the market get back above this 84. Yeah, there's going to be opportunity from here if we see some nice bounces to trade back into this upper distribution. But you really just have this kind of double distribution here, and unfair high slash low, and then unfair low down here, or I guess like right here. But I mean, that's really how you want to trade it, especially because of where we're at in this kind of breakout on the monthly basis. Um, and we're balancing on the weekly, so it just kind of makes sense to play it like that. And so as far as the plan goes, um, the first thing I'm looking for is I'm looking for any upward auction that kind of gives up, right? So maybe into this 78, 79 area, and anywhere into this like value area low, so 76 to 79. See it move up here, kind of fail to get accepted, and I'm looking to fade that back down to that 65. So a little 15 pointer there, trying to set up early. And then another fade opportunity, I think, here, because I think there is a bunch of trapped longs up here, from like this 84 to 88 region. I'd like to try to fade that back down into, like these 70s, or even back down to the low, try to hold it overnight, maybe get into some of that gap. If we do claim, and that's what's tough about this zone up here, is if we do kind of come up here and just kind of diddle around, we could start gaining some upside. Of course, everything's going to be dependent upon, right, because this is 10 15 handles higher than we are now. It's going to depend upon the overall market sentiment. If the market looks like it's starting to trend, we definitely don't want to be taking those shorts later in the day. But if the market is really just kind of back and forth and just kind of chops up here, that might be the area that we get, kind of smack this market down. Um, but yeah, other than that, that's pretty much all I'm really kind of after. I did a little bit of updating over the weekend as far as the chart goes. For the 1 minute chart, TJ was telling me that he has these high volume candles. It marks like kind of high volume. So this is an indicator I found, that marks the higher volume candles. It might be helpful. We'll kind of see how it works out. Um, and if we don't like it, we'll just fucking take it off. More than likely. As far as news goes, we've got factory orders 10 o'clock. Nothing really until 2 o'clock, and that's those FOMC minutes. And then at 4 p.m. we have Fed member Williams on the mic. Remember, we are one time framing higher here too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days in a row. So if we break that previous low, we'll be into the gap. So we'll get a cessation of one time framing, but really we're not going to get that confirmation until we get that gap close. And really, that's kind of where I'm looking to buy like a real pullback, is down here. Just close the gap. Everyone changes their mind about being bearish, and then about being bullish, and then get there. I think there's a lot of opportunity to trap longs in this area that are not long down here. I think that's what the market maker might try to use this space for here. And we have, 100% net short inventory. We don't really have a super wide point of control up here. 11 CPOs wide, so the odds of getting a full overnight inventory correction is not too high, but you never want to rule it out either. What is what indicator?
The one on the candles.
Oh, it's called better volume.
Thank you.
Oh, I can send it to you. Here, I'll just post it in the indicators.
Thank you.
No problem. All right, there's our open. A bit of an up auction to start the session. A lot of volume pouring in right here. Morning, Dan.
I thought I didn't have any sound. Nobody's talking.
I was talking.
Oh, no, I didn't hear it. Well, I didn't hear anything.
Oh, okay. So you get that massive sell coming in 74.50. Is that Roach?
Yeah, I've seen same thing. A lot of offers coming in right here. But it's going up so far. And to get back down below that 73 half, 73, we might be able to get it down. $74.
You got tech looking kind of strong. Apple, Microsoft breaking up high. Video looks strong. Morning, Steve. More big offers getting stuck there. We're getting into this area that I like. I like this 77, 79 area, even the 76 to 79 spot. See, the breath is super negative, right? We kind of expected that. The tick, surprisingly, oh no, there it is. I was gonna say, yeah, opened up negative 18 or negative 1 86. 86. I tried 2 right here. I'll add a third one if we break down below the 73.
Are you in a short, Brad?
Yeah.
Watch 77 here. See if they got to hold that 77. I think.
Yeah, seller's kind of struggling here. Let's cut the, be a little bit early here. See tech or healthcare popped green too, but tech came down a little bit. Nice reoffer there. I just need to pop this thing below 73 and we should get a little spillerooski. Buyer trying to step in there. Reoffer.
If they pop above the 77, they might
Yeah,
run it to
right.
80, 81. Some buyers stuck there. Yeah, 77 half.
Yeah, you keep getting big bids just lifting, 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 and then absorbing on back ticks.
Yeah, they might want to run it to 80, 81. See what happens there. Still offering it though.
Climbed back above the VWAP there.
There's a nice offer. See that offer on 675.
Yeah, it's the same level they offered it before too. So let's see if we can get this thing back below 70 this time. There's some shorts stuck in the pre-market at 69.70 level. So they may try to get it down there. But you see every time they reoffer it, the buyer just kind of steps up and bids. Kind of filling this in here.
Yeah. I was just going to say they're having trouble because I don't think they wanted it back above 77, 76, 75.
My uncle said all the bots are in calls. Microsoft's on a tear. The Dow really not looking as strong as the ES or the Nasdaq right now. A lot of topping here. All right, added my third lot on this 78.50, and so now my average is 77. Looks like I'm getting ran over, so be the best idea.
I'd watch 80, 81, 80, 81. But yeah, so far it's like, man, the sellers are just getting chewed up.
Yeah. You've almost got all of the sector boxes turning green here too.
They just ran a big bid over at 81 too, or 80, 80 even.
Just ran me over too.
I don't mean they ran a bid. They bought. There's a big bid on 80. Came in.
Oh yeah, I see that.
Yeah, I don't mean get run over, and he stepped up, I guess.
The first plan didn't work there, not for me at least. Seeing some good volume come in here as well. Oh, I'm flat. Doped. No, I got stopped out. Yeah, just took my stop. Yeah, the minutes today are at 2 p.m. Eastern time.
Above this 84, I really don't. I wouldn't. I don't have any short. I wouldn't be looking for shorts, I guess. I don't really have anything. Maybe 88, 90, but I don't think I want a short up there. Unless something changes where these sellers. 84 holds maybe.
Yeah, there's a ledge kind of right here. They've just been early to short, and this might be. I don't know. It's a tough call today. You've got Microsoft strong, Apple strong, Nvidia strong, and all the sector boxes for the most part, except financial, is green. Seeing consumer
Yeah, we got a
discretionary
lot of
do well
short stuff
too.
below us now.
Yeah. Oh yeah, tons.
I was looking at maybe if a nice offer came in below like the 80 area, maybe it could change. But so far, just I don't know.
Right at the high of this distribution on the larger scale too. I guess actually it's a little bit higher now. That high of that distribution is like 92 quarter. The key here, if there is a little bit of a liquidation from here, which doesn't look like there's going to be, but nothing's impossible, will be that test of that VWAP. Um, you know, basically what's happening here, right? They bought up, right? Ran through this price was accepted, got bought up. That buyer drove up, drove through this distribution back to this unfair high, right? Because we have a triple distribution. And that's why we were looking to, I was looking to short here and short here in these overnight distributions, um, based off of that. And so we're kind of seeing that fail up here now. And if we get back to this low of this distribution, that's right where the VWAP's at, right? 76 half. So right here. And if there's no strong bid down here, then it probably does have to test back into this distribution at least to try to cure up some trap shorts, which are, I mean, basically all of this is trap shorts 70 to 73.50. Yeah, no POC shift. To me, it just feels like an overnight inventory correction. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't feel super strong, and you're already seeing it kind of fade here. And the Dow is so weak, and Nasdaq really, not. Or that's actually the Russell's super weak. The Dow's actually kind of doing okay. The Nasdaq really the bull here. Nasdaq has been leading as well. Nasdaq actually broke its high from the 30th, also. But what's interesting here too is if we look at the profiles here, so on the 30th, the ES broke the high or put in a new high, new yearly high, whereas the Nasdaq didn't. The Nasdaq still That 15,480 was about the high, so it's still about 100 points off of the high, which isn't shit for the Nasdaq, but um, the Nasdaq still has room to go up, is what I'm getting at, basically. You're on for two. What do you're long? Oh, 2 tick TPO. Oh, yours is on 2 ticks. Okay. Yeah, I have mine on 1 tick.
If they could get a good offer below 80, they might try to run it down.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Maybe back down to 74 or 76 at least.
It's gonna
Maybe
take
offer
a
it a low. I don't.
it's gonna take a liquidation though. I think. I think yeah, I think 80 an offer below 80, but I think we go back down to 80 to see if there's buyers down there. Um, because I think the momentum, the sentiment in the market is up, and so people are buying like every single pullback right now. And so the only thing that's really going to get any downside momentum moving is going to be a liquidation, and so it's going to have to be like a hard, fast move that doesn't bounce to the downside. That's kind of what I'm waiting for, to see that and then get in with it. But I mean, sellers just got stuck again, 83.5 there. There's a really weak spot on the profile at 80. Stuck buyers above us too. Decent amount of them.
Yeah, they need to start freeing up some of these shorts before anything's going to change. I think for the downside.
Yeah.
They just keep getting stuck every.
Tick. Here comes our opportunity.
Kev, you might be muted on his end.
Oh yeah, I did mute you because you were on here. I unmuted you.
Sick of hearing
You
you.
yeah, we no, we were like, we could hear you talking to someone in the background, so I don't know what you're going to be discussing. So
But he's only muted for you. I hear. We could all hear him, not you.
yeah, I just unmuted him now.
Yeah, yeah.
So I muted him on my end, so that way the YouTube doesn't hear him,
Oh, okay.
because I
Yeah,
don't
because I
want him to
remember
say
last
if
time we were
personal
on.
shit or anything like that.
Yeah.
This is GPS coordinates, and the fucking CIA finally finds out where he's at. Well,
No, they got me.
ship you to Gitmo with all the other fucking crazy people. Like, oh, remember all these people that you thought? Well, that would be the worst, right? So, like, let's say you're this big conspiracy theory person, and you're like, big into this, like, they're replacing people with clones and stuff, and then they kidnap you, take you, show you that it's true, but then kill you after. They're like, you were right. Good job, buddy.
Yeah.
That'd be the
Trump
worst.
got you killed.
Yeah.
It's
The
the
market's
first sign
really,
right here of maybe buyers getting stuck here.
yeah, on the 85.
Yeah, 84. Yeah, 85. Yeah. First little sign of something.
Yeah, and we're starting to see a little bit of a consolidation here. Well, lots of buyers showing up right here.
Yeah. They tried to hold them below the 84 and they couldn't.
It's a very key spot here, this 85. We saw an offer move down 85 again, got upticked, but there was no bid above it. And then now they're kind of bringing it down on really relatively low volume here. So we're about seconds away from a liquidation. Momentum shorts got stuck at 83.75 there. Reoffer comes in 84.25. Using the stops of those trapped shorts there.
Yeah, they want to keep this below 84.
Let's go ahead and liquidate this thing down to the 80. You know you want to.
Yeah, if they could keep it below the 84 and get below 83.25, should he see 80 then? Huh?
D-period liquidation? Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I don't really place any. I don't really place any like, what would you call it? Um, I don't think like, oh, because it's a new period, they're gonna start liquidating, unless that new period takes us above or below the previous period. You know what I mean? Like, but if the other period's still inside, I assume that the people that are up to whatever they're up to are up to the same thing, which has so far been buying. I don't think like necessarily like the B open would cause the liquidation. It might, what it might do is like turn the clock on, right? So let's say you got into a trade during A period and your trade is a timed trade. And then, the next period opens up, trades within X amount of ticks of the previous high. Some time goes by and it doesn't take it. Well, then, then you do what's smart. Start taking profit. And that's what, that's what smart money would do. And that the profit taking right here would cause a liquidation, I think. And that liquidation would probably bring us down to 80 to see if they want to rebid. But you're seeing what we've got to stay focused on is what's been going on in the market so far today, and that's been buying, right? And so really, if we don't get this break below this 83.5 where they keep looking to offer it and it doesn't go anywhere, well, then we can't really be assuming that we're going to get that profit taking. And then the next level up is like 88 to 94. So it's like, it's a tough spot right here. Kind of have your play setting up though, Doped. That B period could be a good one. And Dope's play, right? Like, so if we're opening up like near this high or this low, like we did, B period opened up, couldn't take the high. Dope likes to smack that short, stop at the top of the high, very low risk trade, and get that opportunity for a couple points. Sometimes it turns into more, sometimes it turns into loss, sometimes it turns into a good win, sometimes it turns into a fat win, right? But it's a pretty decent
Fake out,
average
yeah.
trade. Yeah, a little fake out.
And then they brought it back above 84 and just that was the end of it.
Little ledge formed right here too. Not much trading went on above this ledge right here.
No, you're right. That little breakout to the upside didn't bring any volume in.
Trying to reoffer here again on the 84. Every time they offer below that 84, it just gets bought up. But the market's really just kind of trading sideways here, as you can see. Like
Yeah.
we've got
Yeah,
79
I was just
to
gonna say
87.
it's hard to get short because every time it goes, they just keep getting stuck, and I don't want to be one of them. I don't want to join them, you know.
Right.
So it's
Yeah.
like,
Exactly.
I just wait. Not a good spot to buy either, but Brad, would acceptance up into that 88.94 area get you bullish or no? Just
If
wait
we
for
get
that
accepted above the
52.
settle, or like above 88, yeah, above 88, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Into that
yeah,
range, you know?
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing that's tricky about this spot here is you really want to, I really want to see it fail here.
Yeah.
If not, you know, I don't want to short really until you're back up
Yeah.
to the high. You know, if you're gonna look to fade it, but the market's looking pretty strong.
Yeah.
Rated AD's up.
Exactly. It's like a
Pick
no
looks
trade
nice and
zone.
strong. Yeah, this area here is like a no trade zone, right? Exactly.
Yeah. But I was
Or
just
with
thinking
like
if it
low
gets
risk
accepted up into
longs.
that,
Go ahead.
yeah. I was thinking if it gets accepted up into that 88, 90, depending on what it looks like, we might go after the highs.
Oh yeah, definitely possible.
Yeah. 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 It's
I mean, Nasdaq
not,
definitely.
not
Nasdaq's above its Friday's high still, so Nasdaq still looks real strong. And it's tough to fight the Nasdaq, to be honest.
Yeah. I was expecting us to trade lower today, fill in all this weak spot down below, like, the low down to like 40, 44.40, all that whole area there.
Yeah, me too.
That might even be the gap area you were talking about. But so far the market's telling me nothing of that ain't happening. That's
My
not that it
body's
can't
telling me
change.
no.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like the short from here though. Well, short from 86. I just think there's got to be a liquidation back down to that 80 for sure. Even if it's just a quick tap and trade back to the highs. I just feel like there's no way they leave
Yeah.
that spot back. It's hard to just sit here and hold it, because I just don't want to lose again. Nothing's worse than starting your first trade off with a loss. You know what I mean? You start the day off with a loss, you're like, motherfucker. And the whole day you feel
Yeah,
like
that
you're just
sucks.
making up for the rest of the work. Already did.
That sucks.
Especially
I
when
didn't do
this
nothing
trade
yet.
goes through the low and then fucking makes up.
Yeah.
Like, a little bit of liquidation
Yeah, I
there.
didn't even take the trade.
Oh, no. Yeah,
No,
oh, yeah.
not yet.
Yeah, I
No, I
was a
didn't do
little
nothing yet.
vicious.
I was looking for shorts. I was kind of in your ballpark there too with the shorts, but just nothing was. They just kept getting stuck. Like I said, I was waiting for something that just never.
Yeah,
If I could
liquor, if
hold
that.
this 84. Sorry.
No, go ahead, go ahead.
God, I'm done. I'm done.
I was gonna say liquor, like if that happens to you, you've got to be, you got to remember that you've got to separate every single trade. You know what I mean? Like you can't be holding on to um onto that. That makes sense. Like you've got to be willing to just kind of like every trade is a different trade. Yeah. As long as the trade, as long as the loss, like the loss I took today was a normal loss, like just like every other loss I've taken a million times. And so as long as it's not like some outsized loss, like where you just like, you know, fucking got all rogue and went against everything that you know, then really you can't even be mad with it. You can just be like, well, that shit's gonna happen. When
Sometimes
I
it's
get the
hard to let
ball, I gotta
those
shoot it
go.
again. What's that?
Sometimes it's hard to let those go.
Yeah, but I mean, if you focus on it and like make it a priority to be able to do that, then
Absolutely.
it will happen.
Yeah. Yeah. It is important to be able to get to the point where you can look at them as all individual trades. That definitely is probably the most important thing, or else you'll do revenge trading, you'll do anger trading, I mean, that's the basis for all the bad trading you really, most of the bad trading you'll ever do.
And a lot of times too, what I see like when people send me their trades is like they'll lose a trade, or even in my own trading, sometimes I'll lose a trade, and let's say I lost this first short, and instead of just thinking like, okay, well the short didn't work, maybe a long will work, I'm like, no, where's this thing gonna short from again? Like I'm not wrong. I know it's gonna go down. You know what I mean? And so that's your overall bias really kind of eating at you. It still happens to everybody. It happens to me still. It's not. I don't think it's a thing that you can make go away. It's just you can use other tools to kind of understand what's happening. That's what comes in with the review of your trades as well. More sellers stuck there.
Yeah, we got a lot of buyers up here too, though, that aren't getting paid yet anyway.
Yeah, that's
They're
true. They
buying
haven't
like
they haven't been able to move it up. That's true.
but they've been able to do it all day, so
Right.
they've been moving it up. So let's see what they do here. 86 half. If they think they need to get above 86 half, shorts might get scared again. You got it.
There it is. bed. Yeah. I'll be right back. All right, what I missed? Anything? Nasdaq's carrying. XLK is starting to kind of turn over here a little bit. Healthcare's still kind of weak. Financials really leading. Financials look kind of strong. Yeah, the Nasdaq definitely percentage basis is doing much better than the ES and the Dow for sure. Dow looks terrible. The key will be if there is a pullback. If the like let's say the Nasdaq pulls back, probably pulls the ES back. Look to see if the Dow catches a bid. If the Dow doesn't catch a bid, then probably get continuation to the downside. But if the Dow catches a bid, then most likely we are having sector rotation, and the day becomes more of a rotational day. And today is, an inside day for the most part. Still, we were to smash all these profiles together here. We're still inside Friday's range.
I figured out how to get rid of a session if you want to get rid of like the July 4th TPO.
Oh, how do you do it?
Yeah, you just click on that screen and then hit chart settings. And then let me do it online real quick. Chart setting. I forget what tab it's under. It's under chart data. The chart data tab.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The reason I can never find it is because it always said like look for dates to exclude, but for the setting name it just says button. But you can see like the set dates to exclude. So you
and
just
then you
click
just
that,
put them in there.
and then you just have to type it the year first, then the month, and then the day, with like dashes in between, and hit add, and then hit OK. And it'll take it out. So it's kind of nice.
Yeah, that is nice. Thank you. I must have done it.
The first time I tried it, I forgot to hit add. So like when you hit add, it'll put it in the column, and then because the buttons are like right next to it, or like it looks like you should just be able to hit OK. But yeah, you have to add first.
Nice. Oh, whoops.
Hey.
I deleted the wrong day.
Oh wait.
Nice.
Yeah, there we go.
You do the same thing as me, Liquor? Yeah. So we break below the B low. Yeah, that's probably smart. You want to see how it tests below the 80. Because that 80 is a real weak spot. 79.5. 81 to 79.5. So that should give you at least a kind of E. I'm being a little bit more ambitious. But it could take me out and then I'll be done for the day on max loss day. And that shit happens, you know. For the game. Oh, Roach said his internet went out. I don't want to sell a spread on the NASDAQ, the Russell. Yeah, let's see how that works out. Buyers still stepping up here. And we got single prints below us. Yeah, it definitely is just grinding up at the moment. And I mean, we've seen that, like, even Friday was kind of a grind up, right? But it definitely did grind up. Had its pullbacks, but then kept grinding higher and higher. And we got a lot of people, I'm sure. Be right back. How's that catching a little bit of a pullback here? Dropped about 10 handles. I mean, nothing crazy. Really to see any downside, 15,404, the Nasdaq would have to get below. Seeing sellers kind of get stuck here at this 89.5 too. Yes. tick is pretty back and forth. Didn't make a new low there, so made a higher low. So it kind of maybe looks like buyers. Well, I mean, obviously with the single prints, but we had a lower low, lower high, excuse me, now a higher low. So you're starting to see some compression here. So it looks like the sell pressure may be kicking on, but buyers are also stepping up, saying we're not done. We'll know, based off of these single prints. If these single prints get closed, then the market has better odds to be rotational. If they can't close these single prints, then this excess up here be the ticket up. See what level that would be. It would be like 96 half to 90 maybe. It seems like even the Dow is starting to maybe participate in this rally a little bit, making higher lows itself and some higher highs. The Nasdaq's pulling back. Nasdaq breaks this 15,410. That's kind of that key level for the Nasdaq. Go. Nasdaq catching an offer. Now this is the key. This is what we've been talking about here. If the Dow doesn't catch a bid, then we can kind of assume that we'll go look for the low. But if the Dow does catch a bid, which it is catching a bid right now, then we can assume sector rotation, and we can't really assume anything with sector rotation besides a rotational market, and meaning we shouldn't be expecting too much downside. We just tried to tick below into those single prints and ran into buyers right away. Same thing happened on the NASDAQ too. Offer trying to move down in this 88 here.
Internet's back, I guess.
Oh, what's up, Roach? You came just in time.
Well, yeah, I heard talking, and I didn't realize the internet must have came back on.
Market's just
Which
getting ready to
insane.
fall apart.
Yeah, it ran up to that 90, huh?
Yep.
Right around there.
So watch this sledge here, this 85. So a bunch of weak shorts just covered their positions right here. But you have to see if this offer is going to try to move down and take it using those stops to continue the position. NASDAQ's still coming lower. NASDAQ cutting like a knife here.
Counts are starting to pile up. We're at 18,100. The downside.
The Dow's back below VWAP as well. You wrote what I say just in time.
Yeah, I didn't jump in though. Not yet.
Yeah, still waiting for that 80. They got to get it below that 80 or else they're just fucking.
Yeah.
I just
Maybe
covered
even a
one there at
retrace
the
back up.
84.
Yeah, 84 has been a bastard so far.
Yeah, and that's why I'm
They
thinking
run
like
back up to 88 half. If they keep it below that, maybe even. Where'd you get short?
I got short at 88, 89, and 90 quarter.
Oh, nice. Yeah, nice right at the highs.
Yeah, I was just trying to. I didn't want to smack them all on at one spot because I figured it'd be a little bit choppy in there.
Yeah.
But I also do want to short this area, to be honest. Like 90 to 96, kind of. I don't know what it is. Like, maybe I'm just fucking. Maybe I'm fucking up. I don't know. Like, maybe I'm just reading the market wrong. But to me, it seems like everything that I did over this weekend was kind of telling me that the market was going to fade today. And obviously not, because the market's up. and it's up like
Yeah, that's the only thing. The same thing with me, like the technical analysis says we should fade, but the order flow is saying the opposite, really, so far anyway.
right that there's
Just the
no
shorts are getting stuck.
yeah there's
Yeah.
no offer.
But you know how that goes. You could change it in, in a heartbeat.
Yeah, exactly. It just takes
Just
one
get all
big
these
guy to
market.
liquidate.
Yeah, trying to get everybody long here, Try to get everybody thinking, oh, it's going up. And then
And this could be short covering too.
yeah.
All these
And it's the
overnight
day after a
shorts just
holiday.
covering. Yeah.
So I was actually content when I lost the internet. I thought, I'm done. I was gonna go do something else.
They pulled me back in.
Yeah, I heard your voice going. I said, what the hell's that? I said, I must have came back on.
Dollar's up a little bit today too. 103. The VIX actually opened higher. It's been trading lower now, but lower. Opened higher. Seems like a strong bid there that didn't get anywhere.
Yeah, right on 87.
Nasdaq coming into some support here. Around this like 85 to 80 level. 15,385 to 80. That's not real strong support, just more temporary. bid coming in here. See if they can take the high. A little short covering as well.
Yeah, I was thinking if they don't hold them below this 88.5, they'd probably go see 90. 89.75.
Dow really didn't catch that much of a bid. It is holding up in this higher region with the ES. But not really got like it didn't like replace the Nasdaq. Nasdaq's still sitting, needs to get back above that 15,410 level. 404 now. Weighted AD still getting higher. Let's see if these buyers step up right here.
Ten seconds till new candle.
I think the sellers got to get it below 88.5 or they're going to be puking it up soon.
Yeah, looks like they're covering now.
Yeah, it's like they're starting anyway.
And for our meeting, I'll be back.
Has that cut a bit again as well? And the Dow caught a bit as well too. Everything's catching a bit here, so that's actually looking pretty strong. Yeah, one time framing up.
It's an offer coming in there.
Yeah, kind of random right there, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Liquidation too. Like single prints all the way down through to that. Double prints, not 100 lot trades.
Still can't get it below the 88.5 so far. Anyway.
It's so hard to watch sometimes. It just does nothing. Like it moves and it's like and nothing. Supposed to be 91 today, Roach.
Yeah, it's gonna be hot next couple days, I think. Thank God. As, as long as it's like sunny and not like that jungle weather. I hate that fucking
Oh, me too.
shit we've been getting. Like no sun
Yesterday,
and just everything's wet.
yesterday was actually kind
What's
of
that?
nice. There's a little breeze too.
Yeah, yesterday. Yeah, yesterday got nice. The sun came out.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been getting that real dreary, like wet, muggy shit. Like I said, like I call it jungle weather.
Yeah, it's like what do they call it? In Korea we called it something in season. Can't remember. But it was like that in Korea, but it would rain like I mean just like it was here. Um but it would be like 4 months of that weather.
Ugh. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, North Korea, like northern Korea, because we were like 6 miles from the border, from the North Korean border. The weather up there is like nice for like 3 months, but the rest of the year it is shit. Like I can only imagine fighting a war right there. Ugh, fucking.
It's cold too, right?
Oh, in the winter it snows. Yeah,
Yeah, it gets real cold, right? Yeah.
so it like pisses rain for like 3 months, and it's hot as fuck. So you're wet and hot, so miserable. And then it's like pretty nice during the summertime, and then winter comes and it fucking just starts snowing. And like I'm talking like
Yeah.
it snows. Not like fucking dusting. Like that shit stays.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I know it gets pretty cold and a lot of snow and yeah.
I'm short again here from the 90 quarter. Try this
Yeah, you
again.
got some buyers stuck there on 91.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm playing off of, is that exactly.
Yeah.
So what Roach is talking about there, if you guys are watching the Dom or still kind of learning the Dom, moved up here, got some buying on the 91, but it down ticked. And then an offer came in below it, right? Or a bid came in below it, but got stuck, but the offer came in below that. And so that's what I was looking at there. And I was like, I think we could probably try to trade this lower here and just stop against the high. So like Thomas, like what we were talking about this weekend, like my scalps, like so this won't I won't factor this trade into like my actual trading, like the profit and loss of it, yeah, but I don't factor it in. Like I don't count it as a trade, and I don't count it as like I don't count it as anything really, except for a little basic read of the order flow, and like my stop's already in profit with it, so I don't really count that as a trade. Now it could go, this thing go all the way down to that 85 or 84.75 where it's been battling, and it'd be a nice little scalp of 5 points, which we don't really typically qualify as a scalp, but um, that's just kind of how it plays out. But I don't really do anything um, except for just write down the time that I took the trade. That way, I know to go back when I do Dom replay and watch the order flow right there. Like, if it was a winning trade, look at the pattern there, and if it was a losing trade, look at either way. I'm rewatching it that time because I'm not trying to fucking watch the whole Dom all day. It's like a replay of the Dom. Like I think Roach likes to watch it in real time, but not for me. I can't do it. I'm like, I want to see like where I'm getting in and if it's good to get in there or if it was bad. The only thing I write down is the time. Like a lot of times I don't even put it in my journal. I put it on my planner, like my handwritten planner, because when I get on the computer later and I rewatch the Dom, I just fast forward to those times. Yeah, and then I mean the P&L obviously is going to go on my log but I won't like write anything about the trade because there's nothing really attached to the trade. It's just that the order flow set up nice, and to try to scalp it. Because like let's say you have a day, right? Say maybe you have a day where you get like your first loss is like a -15, right? And then your second trade is a +8. So what? Now you're down 7 points, right? But you hit a couple scalps and that brings you back to even. But sometimes it's not. I don't really see anything wrong with doing both. It could be more beneficial to try to just stick to one strategy, because I know it can get in the way of things. Sometimes you're like, well, I'm gonna be in this trade for a while, so I'm gonna start getting in. Then in reality, it should have been a scalp. That could be something that you could use your journal for like some of your losing trades. Um, look at the time of entry and see, would they have been a better scalp entry, and so then maybe the level was off, and that could give you a turn to like look at your level, like, or how to look at your level, when to look at your level, I guess, so to speak. Because if you get a scalp and it wins, obviously your level was good, but and you read the order flow correctly. So if you get in a trade at a level, like a trade that you're planning on like taking lower, like in this case lower, right? Would this would this level be a good level? So you write down the time, and let's say it goes back up, right? It goes up to like 90, it goes up to the high. So you go back to this time and look at the order flow, and after looking at the DOM so much, you see the same patterns all the time. And if this pattern played out and didn't work at your level, well, then maybe your level was bad, right? And so because like you've got to be doing the back check on both. I think you got to check your levels and you got to check your reading of order flow. And that's how they can kind of like, you can kind of use them together, I guess. But not together at the same time, but together to kind of check yourself. Just something that I'm pretty much always doing. So if you don't check yourself, you're gonna wreck yourself. Sings that song? One of you old people has to know.
I don't know. I know the reference.
What's it
Or I
from?
heard the reference.
Maybe it's from a movie. Check yourself. I don't know. By old, I meant like 50.
I think Barbara Streisand said that.
Barbara Streisand.
Ice Cube.
Kidding.
Yeah. Check yourself. It's a song by Ice Cube. Yeah. That makes sense. If that's so, maybe it wasn't an old person reference. Maybe I dated myself then, because that's probably a reference that this fucking Roach is thinking, who the fuck is Ice Cube?
No, I know Ice Cube. He's from my day, I think.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
Yeah, he's one of the originals.
I just didn't know if you listened.
Stuck here on this 88.
He was toward the late end, though. He was pretty late in the game. I mean, he's not like Ice-T. Ice-T was definitely one of the originals.
Yeah, Ice-T, OBD, or ODB. NWA was towards the end, though.
Was it toward the end? Wasn't Ice Cube in with them, or was he? No.
Yeah, he was part of them, and then he went out on his own.
Yeah. Okay.
He has one of the sickest flows ever when he's dissing NWA. Like one of his best verses, like, is when he's dissing at NWA. It's a dope ass song. Gets underplayed because people try to play it up, but back then he was like, fuck NWA.
I didn't know he had a riff with them.
My stop too tight. Damn.
Yeah, they had a falling out over money naturally.
Yeah.
And that was in like that time frame that they were coming out was in like the same time frame that like Nixon was president, I think. Right? When was Nixon president?
No, that early? When was Nixon president? No, it couldn't have been that. Maybe.
Oh no. Nixon was like in 70s. Okay, I'm thinking generation.
Tick and tick.
Probably Reagan, Anna. That maybe.
Reagan, that's what I mean. Reagan, not Nixon. Reagan.
Yeah.
Yeah, when Ronald Reagan was bringing cocaine into the United States. That's what I was thinking of.
Shit. Yeah, and they shot him.
Yeah. But that was just to get him back on sides.
Yeah. The best was I mean, it was way before my time, was I think it was Teddy Roosevelt when they shot him. He fucking went and finished his speech after getting shot. He
Yeah.
didn't even go to hospital or nothing.
Well, Reagan, so after that he was giving a speech and there was a balloon that popped or something popped. And he just stood there and he goes, "You missed." That was after he had already gotten shot.
Oh yeah.
I don't even think he flinched.
Yeah, Reagan though, what they shoot him? They shot him with like a 22. I don't think they shot him with a big gun. I'm not sure though. I don't think it was a thing. I don't know what Roosevelt was shot with either, but they said he was a tough bastard.
That's crazy, like back in the
Roosevelt.
day that presidents just used to get shot on the regular. Like, nah, fuck this motherfucker.
Yeah.
Shooting this. Like, if you think about that from like an outside lens, like we think about that like, oh my god, they just fucking killed the president in Venezuela. What a fucking third world country that must be, right? But it's been happening in America. That's the problem. Is like
He was shot with a
people
38.
38? Yeah, that's pretty decent.
Yeah, he was shot with a 38.
Oh, 38 would put a
Roosevelt
hole
was.
in you.
Yeah,
38.
38
Yeah.
would put a hole in your back for sure.
Yeah.
But
Shot him in the chest.
yeah. Yeah, so it's a small entrance
Yeah,
hole, but that when that 38 comes out the back, it's a big hole.
Well, hold on. It says the 50-page text of his campaign speech folded over twice in Roosevelt's breast pocket slowed the bullet, saving his life.
Yeah, Roosevelt.
Yeah.
Took one
Yeah,
off right
he
there,
got shot in the
86
pocket.
quarter. Now remember, even though we are getting this downward move, this move is kind of a bullish move. Right, that's why I'm not getting ambitious and like just letting this thing fucking ride down to zero. Like because you really like we're really just playing a pullback right there. The market couldn't take the high, so we got short off the order flow, right? That 419 that's still sitting there. And when you and that's great, right? That's a great trade, great identification of order flow for a scalp. But in the big grand scheme of things, you have a double distribution here, right? And we moved to the low and came back to the mid. So unless there's an offer that brings us back down that stays below our order flow level, which is this 419, so off the 91 is really all you can play here. then in reality, it's just a pullback with a mechanical low, and the odds are better that we take the high than the low. So there's no point to get short in through this area, right? That makes sense? No, I think I'm fucking that up. Like, it's a nice short, but you don't want to get attached to that thinking like, oh, it's going to keep working forever. Even if we get above this 91, I can keep fucking tossing some shorts on because this shit's been working. Right? Because now we have sequencing. We've got the B period low right off of half back, which it wasn't at the time. Well, it may have been. Probably not. But that D low is definitely off the A high. So that's not really a good level to catch a bounce off. And then also we did get sector rotation. The Dow bounced higher. The Nasdaq came back to VWAP. So now the Dow is overextended its VWAP and the Nasdaq's just right above its VWAP. So what we want to watch for here is that same exact thing. Are we going to get sector rotation? If we get sector rotation, there's better odds the market starts to get more rotational, and then we could start leaning on some short order flow a little bit heavier, because then it just looks like the market's going to be done going somewhere, and typically if it's done going somewhere, then it's going to revert back to. But if the Nasdaq catches a bid and the Dow just stays up high above its VWAP, then we kind of don't want to be getting short, right? And what's more likely, in this situation, is it highly likely for the Nasdaq to catch a bid? Well, fuck yeah, it is. We've been seeing that shit for ages. We don't want to get in front of that. That's where you get smacked, right? That's a good way to explain it. Scalp. That was all about a scalp, basically. That whole thing. And how I factor them in, like how I think about them. And it really all comes back to maintaining perspective. Because sometimes that same thing, that's that bias, right? You get into a trade and you're like, that shit's working, I'm gonna fucking do it again. And it's not time for it anymore. Ooh, Nasdaq's gonna try to break the low here though. Nasdaq's a little bit above its VWAP still. Look at financials. That's such a nice bid. It's not looking bad either. Apple, Nvidia, and Microsoft are all kind of coming back in, kind of looking like P shapes. Nasdaq got a pretty decent bid off of its VWAP though. This has actually gone red. So basically, right here, all I'm watching is the Nasdaq gonna hold its VWAP and then get back above the 15, like 380. It does that. There's decent odds that we just keep going up. So trying to trade lower here. Yeah, looks like buyers are trying to step up here, to be honest. Comes the next period. The longer the poor high starts to hold, then you start getting decreasing odds of making a new high, because a poor high typically is an indication lack of buying, which would mean that kind of running out of buyers, and that we are getting this P shape, which is an indication of short covering. We want to see some confirmation right before we just abandon. The market can keep going up as well. That confirmation is going to be the Nasdaq unable to stay above its VWAP. If it is, then we really don't want to be getting short this time. Offer comes in there, 89.85. Still bidding this thing up. Bid stepped up, 89.50. Stalling out here. All right, Thomas. Catch you later. Yeah, this is painful. Oh, they're trying to offer it lower. Let's see what they get. Apple's actually breaking its low, and the Nasdaq's getting below its VWAP here. Yeah, Thomas took one for the team. Yeah, someone's got to walk away before we can get the market to move. Always. I feel like it's normally me. Maybe that's what I'll do. I'm gonna go make some lunch. As soon as I go, it'll fucking. Yeah, financials look strong, dope. They sure fucking do. Yeah, that's why I'm saying, like, I want to see the Nasdaq hold below its VWAP, and then see the Dow pull back. Because if the Nasdaq rips here and the Dow pulls back, really doesn't tell us anything, but that we're kind of just still grinding higher, especially based off of how much higher than that. Like the Nasdaq made a new high today, so whereas the ES didn't and the Dow didn't. Not a new high on the year though, but a new high out of this kind of balance. No, I think we go down and test that 80 level, like almost for sure. It's also like a tough area. Like you've got to wait for that confirmation too. So it might can't really unless you get in up here, like try to hold. you can't really it's hard to get good risk to reward. You're like kind of playing a 1-1 trade, or you're just trying to really kind of get in where you fit in, and then you just got to take profit because things nothing's really like holding on the downside. You know what I mean? All day. All right, I'm back. Oh, my audio's not working. Wasn't connecting. Super annoying. Oh, now I can. Nice. So Nasdaq breaking its VWAP here, and the Dow coming back at the same time. We get a little bit of a liquidation there. Let's see. Action. Nasdaq holds below. Now look for acceptance into this lower distribution that we're down here. Really want to see it hold below this D low if you are looking for continuation to the downside. No, F was already open. It was just not moving. It was like 1 second open. Nasdaq's breaking lower. Oh, sorry, go ahead. I was saying Nasdaq's breaking lower and the Dow's coming back to its VWAP too, so that's kind of indication of downside continuation. Everything's correlating to the downside right now, kind of. Financials are still hanging at the highs though. A bit there. You can see the breadth is cut in half as well too. It was like negative 1600. Now it's only negative 600. The ratio hasn't changed much though.